Good morning. My name is Gustavo Santana. Today I want to talk about the costs and energy storage solutions we have available for wind and solar energies. So just an overview, uh, we have some problems going on with climate change and how we're contributing to that. And I want to, propose some solutions that we can use for that. Uh, Primarily solar and wind energies. So um, looking at wind and solar energies, there are some costs attributed to that, and there are also some storage solutions we can use to make them better suitable for our energy companies to use as alternatives to fossil fuels. So taking a look at climate change, uh, we've been we've been using fossil fuels and non-renewables ever since about the industrial revolution, and our energy demands have only gone up since then. And due to that, we've also been, burning more and more fossil fuels. So unfortunately, we've been also releasing greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, and you know, those sorts of things into our atmosphere and environment, and that's not good. It's warming our planet up. So uh, here we can see the output of carbon dioxide from the Industrial Revolution period, somewhat, all the way up to 2018. And you can see it takes quite a dramatic curve. And in these recent years, it's almost approaching 40,000 million metric tons, 40 billion metric tons. Um, um, so one of the reasons why we haven't exactly transferred all the way to renewables yet is, well, because it's not quite as reliable. It's not as on demand as the burning fossil fuels, and also the costs involved. There's costs that go into the construction and maintenance, which are some drawbacks to wind and solar energies. Though no, though the downward trends is very promising for renewable energies. It means that there's potential there for investment and more transfer over to those renewable energies. So one of the costs I was talking about is construction costs. Construction costs are important because right now renewable energies are a little bit more expensive than non-renewable energy plants. So coal and gas, for example, natural gas power plants, for example, right now are a fair bit cheaper than solar or wind. So for a smaller energy company, it might be a little bit more expensive for them, or not as inviting to them to invest into these solar, wind, and other renewable energies. So that's something we want to look at. Also, the levelized cost of electricity, LCOE. So this is taking into account all the costs of these power plants over their lifetime and representing it, per unit of electricity. So, it'll help to visualize these costs. So here we can look at the actual cost of these power plants per their energy production capacity. And solar energy is right now quite the highest to actually build and implement. Trailing just behind that is wind, but as you can see, the fossil fuels are quite a bit cheaper to build. So for new constructions, lots of projects and project managers and companies will side towards the cheaper alternatives, which is something we want to address. If we look at the trends, like in the a few charts ago, solar energy has been going down in price. This takes into account all the costs included in running a solar power plant. It takes in like the construction costs, the maintenance costs, operation costs and whatnot. And as you can see, it's been going down from 2010 to 2018. It's gone down around 30%. If we look at the wind alternative, since a little bit further back, there is data for that, and it did spike a little bit in the middle, but overall it also has taken around a 30% decrease. What's fortunate though is the EIA put out this chart where they have predicted or projected what they expect the prices of each electricity to be going forward around 2025, around 5 years from now. And as you can see here, the total system LCOE of wind and solar voltaic is now cheaper than the gas alternative. So that's good for energy companies wanting to invest. Looking at the LCOE though, it's a little bit more long term because you still have to pay that heavy price at the beginning for the construction. So now I want to talk about some energy storage solutions. So with energy storage solutions, one of the difficult things to address is the predictability of the energy. Solar energy obviously only produces while there's sun, and wind while there's wind. And looking at cycles, it makes it easier to predict how and when to put energy onto the grid. So that's something we want to look at, and also the methods that we're going to use to store energy. So this is looking at the production rate for a company in California, and as you can see, they have a lot of solar panels. So whenever overnight there's some electricity use, but as soon as the solar panels start producing throughout the day, there's quite a dramatic dip in the production rate for these companies, and which is good because they're producing more electricity or producing less electricity, and there's more electricity for everybody to use. There's more power, but once the sun starts to set around later in the day, they have to increase their production quite rapidly, so that it's not as useful to them or easy to do. If we look at the wind alternative, we can see that it's not as predictable. So here it is those same curves of energy production or energy on the system, on the grid, and then this is the rates of production, and they don't match up. So it's really sporadic. It's not easy to predict. So that might not be something we want to look at if we're trying to implement some energy storage solutions. So one of the methods that we can use for energy storage, the one I found is most accessible or most implementable, is this reservoir system, which is somewhat like a reverse dam. What it's doing is it's taking the excess energy that's produced throughout the day, and it's putting it into water as a potential height difference. So that way, whenever you want to get that energy back, all you have to do is run that water back through and run it through a turbine, and you can get a good amount of that energy back and put it back onto the grid. So it'll help even out that curve, or the curves we saw in the previous two charts. Looking at everything together, some of the options that we have going forward for wind and solar energies are to invest more into them. But right now, today, my recommendation would be is invest more into wind energies, because they are cheaper at the moment. Notably though, looking forward, solar energy does seem like it's going to be going down in price quite a bit, and if companies or politicians or whatnot have the funds to implement these solar panels, they are a little bit cheaper over their lifetime. So that it depends a little bit right there, but solar energy is probably the way to go. The second part is implementation of of storage solutions. We the best option is likely the water reservoir option. And here's some sources. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me at my email. And I thank you for watching.